Here's a nice easy request I got. How and why to use a capo. One of the first reasons you would use it is if you're singing a song and you're playing in a key you like with the chords you like, but the song isn't pitched for your voice. So the capo will raise the pitches and can bring the key up into a more comfortable vocal range. When you hear a guitar or a ukulele play, you're hearing the full length of this string vibrate. Every time you fret, you shorten the string and raise the pitch. So what the capo will do then, wherever you happen to put it, it's going to shorten the string and it raises the pitch. The general idea is that you treat this like the end of your guitar now. The capo is the nut. This is your first, second, and third fret. So at the third fret, for instance, I could play what looks like a G chord. In my head, it's a G chord. So I can play all the chords I like, G's, C's, D's, and G's. Because of where I'm capoed, I've moved up 3 frets just randomly here, and so my chord actually sounds 3 frets higher than G. That would be a B flat. So I'm technically sounding and playing in the key of B flat. This is B flat, E flat, F, F7, and B flat. It doesn't look like that, and it's not that in my head. I'm playing G's, C's, D's, and G's. So that's what you would do if you were singing a song and you had nice chords, but it was too low for you to sing. You would just experiment by moving your capo around and finding a pitch you like. I'm playing G still. I'm now at a C though. So this is actually C, F, and G. Although still in my head, these are G's, C's, and D's. The other rationale for using your capo is to take a song that you don't feel like you can play well because of the types of chords and use the capo to put it into a key where you can play. For instance, if we were in the key of E, you might not be comfortable with the chords in E. E's, A's, B's, C sharp minor, G sharp minor, F sharp minor, B, and E. And so you might want to use your capo to move that into a key you can play well in. The way that works then is if you're not comfortable in E, you might want to play in D. You transpose the key then. E, A, and B would be 1, 4, and 5. The equivalents in D would be D, G, and A. C sharp minors would become B minors. Because the capo is going to raise the pitch, I'll have to use a note that's naturally lower than E and raise the pitch up to make that chord sound like the key of E. D is a whole step below E. So if I wanted to use D chords, I would capo a whole step higher. I've gone up 2 frets. That means when I play what looks like a D and a G and an A, the result is I'm getting E's, A's, and B's by pitch, by sound. If I wanted to play a different key, I want to play and sound like E, but I want to use C chords. For some reason, the key of C would be easier for me. I check the distance. C is 2 whole steps below E. C to C sharp to D sharp to E. Half a step, half a step, half a step, half a step. So I'd move my capo up 2 whole steps, half, 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 and half. Now, when I want to hear an E, I'll substitute the 1 chord C. The 4 chord in E is an A, so now I'll substitute an F, the 4 chord in C. This sounds like an A now. I'll use the 5 chord, the G, to replace the 5 chord, the B. That sounds like a B, although it looks just like a G. A minors would replace C sharp minors. D minors would replace F sharp minors, and so on. So a song like Southern Nights that's in E to C sharp to F sharp to A, G sharp minor to B, could be played with a capo at 4, 2 whole steps up, using the key of C, 2 whole steps lower than E. The capo moves it up the 2 steps, so I'm in E. So where I had E's before, I have C's, which sound just like E's. A7 sounds like the C sharp 7 I had. D7 sounds like the F sharp I had. Fs are now As. E minor for the G sharp minor, and G7 for the B7. Four chord F, down a half step to E minor, up to the 5 chord to G7. And you should notice that's the same as if I'd stayed in the key of E without a capo. A where I used F in the other key. G sharp minor where I used E minor. 5 chord is B7 and E. Another way to play that E would be here. And if you saw this E chord, you might recognize that that shape is in fact my C chord, with the capo replacing what my finger would have looked like. Very often another thing that you might do is you just play chords you love and randomly try a new capo position. This creates a new sense of the chord that the guitar wasn't going to make otherwise. In the sounded key, this would be C sharp, just randomly selected, F sharp, D sharp minor, G sharp minor, G sharp major, sorry, to C sharp. I could sing notes on this that I would never have sung if I were playing real G chords, because the range is different. And this, although the pitches are the same, this doesn't sound like playing in C sharp would have sounded. F sharp, D sharp minor, G sharp, to C sharp. The key and the chord relations are all the same, but you get a different effect. Your capo may also put you a little out of tune. You may have to find where you want it sitting. You may need different angles sometimes. Right now it's close enough just to put it in the fret. Don't put it right up against the fret. Find a spot, usually just to the right of center if you've got room. You will find it irritates a little bit. Some of your chords are going to run into it. You may have to reach around a bit, but you can work around it when necessary. So here's that same key again. Nothing wrong with either way, but here it is again without the capo. F sharp, D sharp minor, G sharp, to C sharp. So hopefully that'll help you guys with that idea. I'm not too sure that when I switched from capo to non-capo in that last example, I actually used the same chords. I'll find out when I review this and maybe type in an apology in the subtitles. Have a good one, guys. See you later.